guess I'll do the little thing, and then I'm going to tag everybody once we're in.
Okay.
So. Hey, cheers, bud. That'd be a good intro.
Right?
What's going on, everybody? How we doing? Welcome to Analytically Correct. We got your boy Brennigan's here, boy Marty, and as always, our fearless leader Stretch behind the scenes, doing shit. Yeah, thanks as always for joining us, guys. We have the best fucking following on the planet. You guys fucking make every goddamn podcast. I really appreciate it. I'll tag a few of you here in a moment to try to get the ball rolling a little bit. But yeah, so obviously we're going to talk about a few things that we kind of picked out today, and then at any point in time, because you know our attention spans, if you want to fucking say something for, if you want to put anything in there, we'll be glad to fucking talk about that for sure. We love answering those comments. So without further ado, I'm going to start tagging fucking assholes in this, and then if you would like to take off on whatever your first topic would like to be.
Yeah, so the first thing, I think one of the main stories of the last week that I wanted to talk about, I love college basketball as much as any sport almost. So the whole Zion Williamson thing going on with blowing out his shoe, the whole Nike fiasco, and then whatever kind of PR they were dealing with the next day. Whether I heard some hot takes that said it was good for Nike. I don't know about that. The whole any press is good press thing, but
I mean, maybe.
Yeah. So the main thing that everyone started talking about after that happened was, should he come back? Should he finish what he started? As some people would say, if you want to start the season, you might as well come back if he becomes healthy. Sprained knee is generally like 6 to 8 weeks. So if it gets to like 8 to 10 weeks, whenever the tournament comes around, if he's healthy, is he going to play again or is he going to sit out? He's going to be the #1 pick, most people think, at least top 3 at the very least. So do you jeopardize that? There's a couple of different topics off of this. Do you jeopardize that? Do you owe anything to your teammates? Should the players be paid? I personally think NCAA players should be paid. And I'm not saying that all of them deserve like the exact same amount. Obviously, the 12th man on the bench is not going to be making the same amount as Zion. My whole take on it is, the other side of the argument is you shouldn't pay players. They're already getting an education. They're getting however many thousands of dollars a year to go to school. My counterpoint would be, Zion Williamson is never going to use that degree. He's not going to go back to school and finish it. He went there to raise his profile and then go to the NBA, only because the NBA says you can't come directly from high school. Had he come directly from high school, he would be a top 5 pick. He would be.
Not you, sorry.
You're good. I never know if it's me or not.
No.
Anytime you look at him, I get nervous.
If I don't say anything after I laugh, it's probably
Perfect.
not you, but you're good.
So yeah, and I'm saying players like Zion, at least let them do commercials. I saw Roy Williams in a commercial. I'm sure he's getting paid with that, with the stupid UNC mascot. At least give these guys a chance to use their own likeness, sign autographs, do whatever. And then figure out a plan whether you want to pay them as much as they would make if they were working a job. They don't have time to work and go to school and play basketball. So I'm not saying everyone should get paid. The guys who are only there because they have to be, let them at least try to make some money off of their own name and everything. I'm not saying you pay Rob Pelinka the same as you pay Jalen Rose,
Right.
or Ray Jackson, or Jimmy King, or Juwan Howard, or Chris Webber. I mean, just to pull some names out of nowhere.
Yeah, we're just off the top of the head.
Yeah, but so not all players should be paid or even paid equally. The volleyball team's not going to make as much as the football team. It could be based on like revenue generating. But the fact that people try to do a counter argument that they're already getting an education for free, these guys aren't going to use that. It doesn't mean the same to them as it does as someone who's going to stay there for 4 years and actually get the education. So maybe you can prorate it for however many years they're not there. You pay them the money, something like that. But it's not right that they're not allowed to work right out of high school for a job that they're qualified to do. A lot of people disagree with that. They think players shouldn't be paid. They think they get enough already. I mean, the only thing that Zion pretty much gets for going to Duke is he gets to work with Coach K, one of the best coaches of all time, and there is some value to that. But at the same time, it's not the millions of dollars he would have got coming straight out of high school.
Right.
Now, not to ramble on by myself for too long, another part of that argument, if you want to say it, even if Zion came into this season, if that injury, instead of a sprained knee, turned out to be a torn ACL, he's going to go top 3 still.
Think so?
Yes,
torn ACL.
Absolutely. People say Anthony Davis, to compare it, he shouldn't have to play the rest of the season if he knows he's not going to be on the team. If Anthony Davis tears his ACL right now, he's going to get a max contract next year anyways.
What if he tears his ACL? He would get a max contract.
I still think he would. I think any team
tears his ACL.
You only need 1 out of 32 teams or 30 teams in the NBA to give him the contract. I think if either one of them had that injury, the way you can come back in sports nowadays, I definitely think he'd still be top 3. Manute Bol's son, very creative first name, by the way. But for whatever injury he had, I can't remember it off the top of my head, he's still going to go in the top 5, top 10 next year. It'll definitely be affected as far as the contract goes, but that's just my whole rant on paying players, why I think they should be, and what they have to lose if they do play.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about paying players and everything? I actually have never heard what you had to say about it.
No, it's fine. Like I said, you kind of threw that one out there before we went on the broadcast. I thought it's a great conversation to have for sure. And jumping back to my previous conversation from last week, it's a great conversation. But yeah, no, I think it's there lies the main thing, is what you said. Like, you can say whether they're going to play athletes or not. If you start doing it, I mean, it creates absolutely nothing but problems, because, like you said, it sucks that the volleyball team isn't going to get generate the same revenue as the basketball team or football team, but that doesn't mean that they're not just as talented. Like, you could have the numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, volleyball players on the planet, and they won't generate nearly as much value. So, like, do they not deserve that money? So it's like,
I would say no, just in the fact that you're talking about generating revenue. There's no professional volleyball league that they could have gone to straight out of high school where their value is going to increase. They're actually, for like volleyball, swimming, different like fringe sports like that, when you get a scholarship, that's a lot of money for these kids to be paid, especially if you're going to somewhere like Duke, where you never would have been able to afford it. Some of these kids who are playing basketball that people can't name on the bench other than the top 5 players,
right?
They're actually utilizing the scholarship, maybe getting a degree.
Well, I mean, okay, so just to your point about Zion at Duke, so it's not like he's going to X college, I'm not going to embarrass any colleges, but X college whose academic curricular is a lot less than Duke's, because Duke is it's a prime school. So even if he is going there for 1 year, Chad Steven brings up a great point. Like, he's still getting like a really good education. I think if he goes to class, whatever you can do.
If he went to a single class, I would be surprised. For the short time he's going to be there, he could go to 0 classes, and by the time that the academic penalties come down,
you're right on that. But
he doesn't have to go to a single class.
He still has to maintain a certain GPA through the semester, though. I mean, that was Bobby
Knight.
Yeah, Bobby Knight's big thing. Like, if you didn't have a 3.5 GPA, like, you weren't playing. And obviously, I'm not saying he's the greatest coach of all time.
It's also freshman classes where you're taking like ENC 1101, where you got to write a paper, or most of these guys.
Those college classes. I didn't go to college, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I didn't finish.
I'm making fun of myself. So.
Yeah, but so they're taking like classes where if you can't get straight A's in those classes, they're taking like.
Damn it, Chad.
They're taking a couple of different classes where if you can't last for 3 months without getting a 3.5 or even a 4.0. I mean,
at Duke, dude, a 3.5. Like, I could go there for 4 years and I get 3.5 on the same classes. I mean, just Duke.
I'm not saying that.
I know we're spitballing here.
Whatever the classes that Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett, and Zion are going to, they're not the same classes that that a lot of other people are going to that are regular freshmen. There's way easier classes you can take than just the regular required classes. But my whole point is, when you say that they're getting paid and that they're getting a scholarship and an education, the only education that Zion or any of these other guys are getting from college is from Coach K. And that's obviously worth a lot, but they're not going to use the degree. They're not going to go back to school and get their degrees. I mean, once you get to the NBA, your first contract, you're making millions of dollars.
Well, I guess for most. You think they're not going to class, period?
I'm not saying that for sure, but if it came out that they didn't go to a single class, I wouldn't be surprised. And whether or not they're going, whether or not they're cheating or doing anything like that, I mean.
Brian Bond seems to back your point up. Ben Simmons dropped out of LSU the day after they were eliminated from the SEC tournament. So.
He definitely really cared about that.
But
degree.
I mean, that was after he had no more games to play. So if he drops out, then
if he didn't
what are you going to do? Suspend him?
He seemed to not have very much interest in playing basketball at LSU. You think he cared about going to a math class or an English class at LSU?
I'm not gonna say too much. SEC baby, but
SEC, yeah. Those guys are all going to class. nobody's writing their papers for them at all.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the Big Ten is all full of quality people. Penn State, but anyway, so I just think that it's you can go tit for tat on that. I don't disagree with some of your points. In my opinion, I think that some of those athletes should get paid at least a little bit because I mean, you always go to the not you. I just mean people always go to the most extreme situation. Whereas I'm about to go, like let's say that you're somebody like Warwick Dunn, who had less money in his family than this pint glass was worth, and yet he went to Florida State University. I'm sure while he was raping everybody else in rushing yards, and it takes a lot for me to say about a Florida State guy. I could have picked a lot of Florida guys, but I like Warwick Dunn's story. I'm sure he would have loved. His family was probably like, man, we just need a little bit of something to get going. And I'm not saying that sounds a lot like I'm advocating for boosters paying for players,
which definitely happens. I mean,
no one's gonna deny. Not
okay, yeah. We don't even need to.
NCAA's not gonna deny.
We don't even need to debate that. Yeah,
but
the FBI is debating it right now.
I do think that you should get something. And now again, therein lies that argument. It's like, okay, well, based on how many yards you get, like, if you're the quarterback, starting running back, and the wide receiver, do you get it? Or if you're one of the starting offensive linemen, you get like. That is always going to be the question at hand. Like, okay, who gets it and how much? I don't think that either side is right, but I think if you start to give people money, it's going to end up with so many questions. And it does. I believe that they should get paid at least a little bit. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, they should get paid a little bit, but I don't. But I know what I don't know fucking.
Yeah. I'm not going to
Excel plan and tell you what.
I'm not going to say I have a well thought out plan. There's a couple of different ideas you could do. You could do a starter makes this much, a backup makes this much. You could do it. All you have to do is let them make money off of autographs, make money off of commercials, whatever you want to do.
Pisses me off that they can. I'm sorry, just really quick. It pisses me off that college players can't take money for autographs. Like that part makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
If you want to pay somebody for being on the team, that's one thing. If I want to be like, if Tim Tebow walks in, well, bad example because he will never take the money. But like if some awesome Gators player walks, if some girl, I thought of the greatest college player of all time. I'm sorry,
Aaron Hernandez.
If some famous Gator walks in here and I be like, hey man, look, I know you with your family. Look, can I buy you a drink? That's not cash. Can I buy you a drink? Would you mind autographing us? Which I would never do. I wouldn't upset. But like that in turn is paying for an autograph. I'm sorry to cut you off there, but
no, that's pretty much exactly what I was saying. That why am I not allowed to sign my name on this piece of paper?
It's the stupidest. Like that makes no
and
fucking
give it
sense.
to somebody in return for money. But that's the whole thing. They want to keep the labor for free, and they want to force. They want to force people to go to school for a year. At least if they gave them a choice and you're choosing to enter into this contract where you're not allowed to make money off your name, they have no choice. Your only choice is to go play in Europe or something.
That's where a lot of these comments are coming from. I think that's actually a very good point, is that if you do go overseas, I'm not quite sure which side everybody's coming from because they're coming in fucking hot, which is awesome. All of our comments, but I think that's a very good way to do it. Like, you might as well, if you're not going to get paid in college, why wouldn't you go overseas? Yeah, it might be lonely, but you can definitely work on your game, and you're playing against a lot better people, because if you go overseas, those are professional leagues, and it sounds like I'm taking a shot at U.S., but or shot at, other continents, but it kind of is, like, there's professionals over there that are 15 years old, and they're making a shit ton of money. Go ahead.
I don't understand why people are like this about sports. What other job, if I told you, for some reason you're like a prodigy engineer coming out of high school, you're not allowed to go sign with a top engineer firm, You have to go work.
You can't do that because no one watches. No one watches that.
But it's the same principle.
No, it is, but no one watches it. You're not wrong in theory.
You're saying that's why people don't.
There's no engineer channel. It's ESPN, so it's what everybody wants to watch.
Yeah,
you're not wrong at all.
If you're good at video games, you don't.
Last week, all over again. God damn it, you were so fucking hoping for this because we started getting into this last week.
But if you're good at video games, you don't have to go and play in China for a year and then come back to the U.S. You can start playing. Why are sports? It's because I'm asking a question that I'm going to answer myself. Why are sports the only job where you have to go to another thing first before you can go to the top level? It's because they make money off of it, and the only people that aren't making money are the players. So they want you to go to NFL or NCAA football for 3 years. They want you to go to college basketball for 3 years or 1 year. So what you're going to start seeing is Zion Williamson is not going to be in college basketball. You're just not going to see him for a year. And people are going to like that even less. So you don't get to watch the best high school basketball player come out and play for a year.
The best NCAA basketball player right now, for sure.
Yeah, so instead of going to college for a year, okay, forget that. I'm not going to pretend I even care. I'm just going to sit out a year. If you say
Brandon Jennings did that. He went overseas. He played. And he came back. He's not great.
He's
but
also
he did
not
pretty well.
Yeah, I'm a Pistons
He's not
fan. I know about Brandon Jennings very well.
Dude, if I asked that dude to score 60 points in a game, he'd be like, "Thank God someone fucking asked me that."
Right? Yeah.
I don't want to pass
that
at all.
He's just watching James Harden.
Sorry, Dad. I stole it from you.
He's just watching James Harden late at night, like doing whatever.
Who hires an engineer without a professional education? That's also a good point. If you're an engineer, that's my point, Chad. Thank you so much. Like,
okay,
you're not wrong. It's just like if people watch sports, they don't watch engineers. And engineers make a lot more money than most of those people. I think people put so much emphasis on the players that are making the most. Like Machado's are going to earn like $63,000 per hour for the next like 20 years or whatever. Like, okay, well that's one example. If you the Matt Seizure, who is the last roster invite. No, Seizure. That's how you pronounce it. I know he's played for the Cubs. I love Matt Seizure. He's awesome. It's spelled SZRCZUR. Anyways,
okay.
So he's like the last player on the team. So he's making probably nothing. But he's playing professional sports. No one's arguing about his contract. Everybody argues about the big contracts, not you. Just in general. And I don't like that. I think that people are just jealous of a lot of those big contracts. I'm getting a little off topic here. But.
By the way, Goodwill Hunting never went to college. I'm pretty sure he got hired like the CIA. So shut that down real quick.
Sometimes I'm a janitor at high school and I just walk by boards and I see math problems.
He was not a good janitor. I'll say that. I watched what he was doing. It was not. Hey, I've never heard this take before, so I'll take credit for it, but he was not really scrubbing those floors as much as I don't know. But he was pretty good at math. So anyways, so how would you feel if Zion was healthy? It came out, I don't know if Duke would protect him by saying that he's not healthy to protect his image. What if they came out and said he's 100% healthy and he decides not to play in the NCAA tournament? Would you say, like, what would you think about that as far as...
I mean, luckily I'm not necessarily a fan of Duke, but more power to him. I know you hate Duke. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm praying for it because we're in the same region, and if he's not playing, Michigan can definitely beat Duke.
That's you got to worry about Tom Izzo first, but I would not have a problem with it. Sorry, you can punch me later. I would not have a problem with it. Look, he's going from he did his little 2 cents in the NCAA. I'm glad Chad brought up a great point about the D League. I've touched on this in previous podcasts that I think we should. Well, it's G League, correct. Which again proves my point. I think that we should put so much more emphasis on that, and I hope that's where Chad. I hope that's where you're coming from. Is that with baseball? I'm sorry to be a broken record, but baseball we have 20 fucking leagues to make you better.
Grapefruit League,
NFL we have almost nothing. Very rarely do you go from the CFL or now the AAF. And go. Hopefully, a lot of those guys do. I honestly hope that that's a big training ground for NFL players. But in NBA, you have this awesome tool, the D League, and I hate that people don't utilize a lot, especially with young players, that you're gonna spend all this money on. Now, it goes to that point where okay, I'm young, I want to go make money. Okay, we're gonna sign you a D League contract. Now you're making. I have no idea what they make. I'm gonna just assume $50,000 a year, probably maybe less.
Something, yeah.
Maybe $30,000 a year, probably less than that. I'm not quite sure.
It's just that it's such a small percentage of players that we're talking about in college as far as who would get paid.
Tate. Sorry, go ahead.
If someone in college offered their autograph, how many would get paid? Maybe 20. Why are people getting so mad about this? I'm telling you right now, if you want to keep players going in college basketball, you're gonna have to pay them, or they're gonna start. Guys like Zion are gonna start sitting out. They're gonna see him get hurt. Another kid's gonna see him. He's gonna say, "I'm number one in my high school recruiting class. Why am I gonna go play at Duke or North Carolina or any of these places?" I mean, if you grew up watching these teams, maybe you'll want to go play there. I think eventually you're gonna start seeing the talent leave college basketball. So it's either you're going to pay them to go play for a year there, or you're going to let them go. Just let them go straight to the NBA, and then you can relax the rules, because right now if you sign with an agent and then you go to the NBA draft, you don't get drafted, you have no college eligibility.
Yeah.
So as long you could always just allow them to try to go into the draft, and if it doesn't work, let them play college basketball for a couple of years. And you can see what your actual value is.
What about this? I'm sorry to interrupt. This is just a random curveball I'm gonna throw out there. I don't approve of this or anything, but I think this is a very good point. What if you said you can come out your first year out of high school, but you have to play in the D League for one full season? Now, I know that might get to the college thing where, okay, well, I could play it for one season. Oh, I strained my leg. Now I don't have to play the whole season. But I feel like if I'm the NBA affiliate with that team, I would not want him to sit out. I'd be like, okay, great. Well, yeah, you've served your 1 year. You have to play another. But then I guess you're going to get other people trading for him. Be like, we don't care.
No, that's fine. I think that's actually a pretty decent idea. So
Call me Brown rule.
I think that's a pretty decent idea as far as you let them go to the draft, but they have to be in the D League for a year. It actually would work in both ways, because you're going to get more people watching D League games instead of watching Duke games, where these players aren't getting paid. They're going to be watching say the Miami Heat D League games, and Zion's on the team because he got drafted or whatever.
Right.
And then he's actually making money, and then you're actually raising the profile of your league. Right now they have the college system as a feeder league, and all the guys that you know from college go straight to the NBA, and the ones you don't know are in the D League. If you took those guys and the NBA put them in the D League or the G League, you're going to get more profile for that, and I think it would be better all around.
Chad's on fucking fire right now. Stuart, I love you, man. You're my boy, but Chad's on fire. Okay, well, no. Now Stuart's bringing up a good point. Yeah, it should be in the D League instead of college first. Okay. Oh, wow, that's weird. A D League instead of college first. I don't agree with that.
What? So
because D League is grown men. D League is grown men.
Yeah, but Zion is a grown man. I
don't want to fight Zion ever. I don't want to fight his mom.
I did go to college for a short time, but I did go. I didn't see anybody like that in my college.
No.
I mean, it's
a very tough. I mean, by the way, great call with this opening topic, because it's fucking it's pretty big, like you said. It's
everybody's so divided on it, and I'm.
Well, I wouldn't say divided. It's just everybody has different. Go ahead.
I'm pretty open-minded, but what is the argument against paying players besides they're already getting an education? When my counter argument is that half of them are not using that. They're not actually. RJ Barrett doesn't care about the education. He's only going to Duke because he has to. The only education he's getting is from Coach K. I mean, that's worth something, but let's not pretend that he's learning anything as far as math or writing goes. He doesn't care about that. His job is to be a basketball player. He's a really good one. He's not allowed to go professional because they say so.
Sure. I mean, I don't think anybody made. I mean, that's one argument against it, is that they're getting an education. You can make a few arguments other than that, but Jared Allen's a team now, full of old NFL players. Jared Allen. If anyone can chime in without looking it up, I will seriously. If you can, I will Venmo you.
Are you gonna ask
$5 for a beer? Yes. If Jared Allen, do not say it, because actually you can say it, because no one fucking knows it. If you can tell me where Jared Allen, if this is the right one I'm talking about, who did the
curling, yeah,
that thing,
you're talking about him trying to become a Olympic curler.
I'm assuming that's what my buddy Chad is talking about. Yeah, but without looking it up, I swear to God, do not look it up. I trust you guys. Well, you got 60 seconds. It's the most impossible fucking trivia question.
I remember him doing a bunch of Monday Night Football intros where it was like Culinary Institute of California and stuff like that. If I had to guess, it was like a two-directional state school, like Northeastern Missouri State.
I can give you their mascot. It's the Bengals.
That doesn't
Stuart says if they are of that standard, if they are of that standard is what I said. That sentence doesn't make sense. The KGs, KB,
Obviously didn't go to
JBJ,
Duke.
T-Mac, hell, KD, Kyrie, Carmelo, those guys should have gone to D-League instead of college. Well, look, no one's... Yeah, I guess, yeah.
What was he saying? I'm sorry.
He was saying if that is a standard, if you just want to go one at it, but with the Carmelos...
Why can't
shit,
they?
That's tough.
Why can't they just go from
That's a
high
great
school?
point.
Why can't they just go from high school to pro?
Well, because, I mean, these guys were ruining their lives going straight to the pro. I mean, we can name some of the good ones, but if we
Allow
like
them,
Cato State.
then allow them to go back to college if it doesn't work out. Why does it have to be so punitive? Just because you try to go and get your dream job and you will get hired, then you can't go back to college?
If we looked it up, you don't have to be #1 pick, but if we, thank you, Chad. If we looked it up, I bet I could name, not I can name, but I mean, obviously, if anyone looks it up, you can name anybody 1,000 top 15 draft picks that did not pan out or are bankrupt now to become going early, as opposed to the guys who went early and are making money.
But you could do the same thing with guys who went to school for 4 years and got drafted in the top 15. That didn't work out. And then what?
Maybe not 4 years, but I do see what you're saying, but not in the top 15 though.
And there are guys who stay who still go in the top 15.
You're only right because it's very rare to get drafted that early. You're right, only because
Steph Curry was there for 3 or 4 years.
There were 2. Either way.
He's got that Davidson degree to fall back on if the NBA thing doesn't work out for him.
Shut up, Chad. No one cares about fucking Rashad Jennings.
I know. There's a.
He always says because that's the only one he can get me on every fucking time, and I still can't fucking remember.
People can point out the outliers, and I can point out an outlier for anything, but I'm talking about the majority of people, and I'm only talking about like 20 or 30 kids. Just pay each of these kids. Why do people hate people getting money so much?
All right, we'll
all right, yeah.
As we transfer from this one, we'll go to the next subject, which is not as ridiculous. Fuck you, Chad. As 3,
Chad.
2, 1. Shut up, Chad. Of course, I didn't Google it. Jared Allen went to University of Idaho State.
Oh, it was close.
Who are the Bengals? Not to be confused with the Idaho Vandals, which is where Mark Schlereth went. That fucking piece of shit. Because fuck the Redskins. So.
I just
Just saying. He also had the same disease, I believe, as our starting center for the Cowboys, who missed the whole season. So I'm gonna hate on you for that. You know, before this massive thing goes viral, I'm sure it's going to, because ESPN's watching our backs. But yeah. Anyways, okay. So next one, you chimed in on that. I'm just gonna really quickly get in on something that's been pissing me off. Is that the fucking Cowboys? I'm just trying to prove my point as opposed to the past few episodes we've done. I've tried to say that, like, look, if this person is not a good person, I try not to root for them for my team. So it came out today that not one,
I might not know about this,
but 2 Dallas Cowboys starting defensive linemen are going to be suspended. One for a definite reason.
Don't tell me it's
another
Tyron
one,
Smith.
it's not a reason unknown. He's an offensive lineman. But
what'd you say?
Yes, defensive.
Oh well, that's what they have on their team pretty much. So Randy Gregory and Greg Hardy and
Greg Hardy's not there anymore, but yeah.
But he was.
Gregory got suspended again. That's actually kind of a sadder story.
I got it right. It was Gregory again.
One of the 2, like I said, 2. But Irving was the other one who has also been suspended multiple times. That one has not come out quite yet as far as to what it pertains to. But like that shit, like that that shouldn't fly. Like, I don't want to re-sign those guys. Now, I'm not saying that they're pieces of shit. Like, getting the fuck out of it. I just, look, you've clearly, you need help. Like, at this point, I'm not saying that. And I'm trying not to be like too, I don't know what you want to call it.
Judgmental.
Too rude, judgmental. I guess is another word for it. I just look, you.
That's not how sports radio
I know
works.
that you need people.
You have to judge.
That's true. I know
You
that
must
you need
be
people
judged.
behind you. You need all this stuff.
So,
But that's the difference between Kareem Hunt, and that's the difference between this. Like, you can have people behind you. I don't need that type of thing behind you. The Browns are saying, whether they want to admit or not, that it is okay to, whether the girl calls him an N-word 1,000 times or not. And luckily, I'll never have to deal with that fury inside of me. Thank God. So I am a hypocrite talking about this, but you should never put your hands or feet or whatever the fuck he was doing on a woman. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. I don't think you should beat a woman. Sorry. But the Browns saying that that they're signing him. I get that your boy Dorsey re-signed him, but I think that in my opinion, that's showing that you're not promoting that, but you're entertaining it.
Yeah, like you're the new Bengals.
That's a great one, yeah. Vontaze perfect.
Yeah.
And we had some hot takes in our previous affiliates.
I didn't have that much of a problem with Perfect. I just didn't.
Perfect would stomp on your grandma's clit if he had a chance. Like, that dude is the biggest piece of shit.
That's a visual right there.
Dude, that guy fucking sucks.
Right.
God, I can't stand that guy.
He's also in your division, so you have some kind of feelings about him. I mean,
damn it.
Sounds like he's about to get signed to the Browns to me.
Yeah. I can't argue that.
This is a good tie-in with what Stretch was telling me. Torrin said on shout out to the BS podcast is if you're gonna do crime, get it in quick because the time's run out. Today I just saw Mike Bibby on the scroll. Mike Bibby was accused of like sexual assault. Whether it's just an accusation, but
he has to. That dude's ugly as sin.
It's just an accusation, but
that was a joke. I don't mean.
One of my favorite sayings is Charles Barkley always tells Dan Le Batard. He's like, you know who? Because he tells him it's just TV that makes him look fat. He's like, you know who doesn't look fat on TV? Skinny people. So you know who doesn't get accused of sexual assault most of the time? People who didn't commit sexual assault. Whether he did it or not, it's allegedly. And you're talking about all these guys. Everything's coming out. It's like the whole Time's Up movement. It's just not to get like political or social or anything on it, but just don't do it. I mean, unless you want to get caught, don't do it. And I don't really want to talk about the Robert Kraft thing too much because I don't really know what to say about it other than don't go to massage parlors in Jupiter, Florida when you're a billionaire. But just stop. Just be a good person. That's a hot take. Just be a good person. Like.
Yeah, it's a horrible take, but yeah, if you want to call it that, that's fine too. Just be a good person. That's not going to inflame a bunch of fucking.
Just don't abuse.
I think you're fucking wrong.
Just don't abuse women. How about that? And then you won't get caught for it or accused of it most of the time.
Brian Bond says, "Is there a bigger thug in NFL history than Perfect?" I mean, some of the.
What do you mean by thug? That's like coded language there. But
yeah, I know. There's just. I mean. He's fucking.
Aaron Hernandez murdered people. I don't know. Is that good or bad or I don't know. Did I win?
Okay, so he's not going to say that you're wrong on that. It just
is that good? Did I break it? Did I win?
I'm assuming like they're on the field of play. So I'm sure Brian Bach can tell me all about some of those safeties for the Raiders back in the day that would just try to take people's fucking heads off and all that shit.
I mean, everybody wants these guys to care.
Ray Lewis.
Everyone wants these guys to care to a certain amount, and once they care a little bit more than that certain amount, then that's too much, and then bring it back. Everybody wants guys to care, and then as soon as they cry, they make fun of them for crying. Everyone wants NBA players to care about winning, but as soon as they try to force their way out of a team that has built nothing around them for years, and they have no chance of winning there, then they care about winning, but then now don't care that way, care a different way. So I was talking to my dad about this at halftime in the Michigan game, which they lost. I'll wear the shirt next week. Yeah, that's great. Like I said, everyone wants these guys to care to a certain degree about winning a ring, and then when they win the ring the wrong way, when they try to get off their team who has built nothing around them and doesn't deserve to waste the prime of their years, I'm talking about Anthony Davis here, or when you try to win a ring and they blame LeBron for leaving the team and he did it the wrong way. But then if you stay on the team for your whole career, then you become Charles Barkley, who the first thing he hears when he talks to anybody is, oh, you never won a ring. Like, you think he didn't wish he would have went to a different team?
Paul Pierce is the same thing. Paul Pierce stayed on the same fucking team.
But everybody came to Paul Pierce just because he didn't leave. Like
there were people that came to Charles Barkley. I mean, if you want to talk like Kobe Bryant didn't leave.
But you think LeBron, if he really wanted to, couldn't have told Wade and Bosch to come to Cleveland?
Wade didn't leave either. Like it's just we could different.
He actually left.
If you left, then okay,
we
could go to Dominique Wilkins. I love. I mean, he actually finished his career with the Celtics. You can look that up. But I'm saying he never left. He was a fucking polarizing figure. And
Wade actually did leave. He left multiple times. I mean, he left.
Just saying, like not before. He got he stuck it out and then he got his ring. Not like some of these other assholes who want to leave, get the ring, and then go back. At least he stuck it out with his ring. Dwayne Wade did not leave Miami before he got a ring.
Right.
Period.
But he also didn't get one until Shaq came there. I mean, you could say the same for Kobe.
Stuart says, let's please not have this convo. Okay. Sorry, hopefully you're still watching. Hopefully I don't have to tag anybody else in this, but yeah. Fuck, I wish I could get all the damn comments on this fucking thing. Maybe I just click on the goddamn screen.
Brett just punched a girl in the face. He had to cut her.
Missed it. Yeah. That's how you get away with it.
Get away with your crime now, right, Torin?
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, people don't want to talk about the rings. We talked about Duke and everything. Do you want to? I'll go a little bit with you, and I'll start my hockey trade deadline talk.
Yeah, let's roll.
I can't really complain. I don't feel like yet. It's not like the Cubs where I haven't won in like 100 years.
I almost wore that shirt today too. It said 108 years in the making. I almost wore that.
The Red Wings were in the playoffs. I think it was something like the first 23 years I was alive. We've sucked since, but I'm waiting to complain. It's not to the level yet where I'm willing to complain. I'm kind of complaining, but if you wanted, my take on the trade deadline was, I mean, the Red Wings, who nobody else besides me cares about, traded Nyquist. That signaled the end of the season. We're officially giving up, even though we're already in like last place. What were some of the moves? Who did you think got better? What do you think? Good, bad trades? Anything you have anything on that?
I mean, there really wasn't a lot of like holy shit fucking moves, but I still like. I mean, it really is kind of incredible what Tampa's doing. They're on another fucking planet. The other teams that are kind of trying to keep up are the Flames, who have actually really stepped into their own the past 2 months. Not but kind of my Maple Leafs have kind of got in there. I love Austin Matthews so fucking much. He's their best player. This guy, if you guys haven't, I know no one gives a shit about hockey, but dude, if you get a chance, if you're at a bar and you're talking with people and you just happen to glance up and there's a Maple Leafs game going on, watch number 34. And that's all you need. It's the most amazing thing ever. He's fucking unbelievable.
Mom? Hi, Mom.
But, oh, Jesus. All right, well,
I hope she wasn't listening about that grandma thing.
Probably not. Probably not. Anyways, yeah, so, all right, I guess I'll have to be semi-G rated for the next minute.
No, it's fine. I'm my mother's son. She knows.
But yeah, seriously, Austin Matthews is one of he's trying to be the greatest American athlete or hockey athlete of all time. His first game ever, he scored 4 goals. That dude is a fucking maniac.
Who would you say he's going against in that category as far as best American? This keeps distracting me, right?
Jonathan Taves a little bit, but I mean, Mike Modano has the most goals of all time of American War player. Taves and I think Patrick Kane. I think Patrick Kane as of right now.
Everybody I can remember, because my hockey knowledge is similar to like baseball knowledge, was 90s, and I'm talking about the Red Wings teams of Chris Chelios, Steve Yzerman, Konstantinov was a little bit earlier, Hasek.
Yeah. Oh well. So if you can see this, I apologize.
Is the sound still working? Maybe it's the.
Can you guys comment if it's just the feed or the sound? I know it takes a minute to get to me. I apologize. I do apologize for technical difficulties. If we are working on them right now.
I think it's a sabotage from Torn and.
Yeah.
What did someone get Zuckerberg on the phone?
Yeah, fucking Stewart, he's such an idiot.
We can do it once we for sure get back on there, but who would you, I was going to ask you. I was going to say who would you have as like your finals matchup for NHL?
Oh man.
I mean, you have to have Lightning. If you're picking against the Lightning, it's only because you don't like them.
Sharks have been playing really well, but I mean, you can't count Calgary out, which would be a fucking rematch in 2005, 2004. Calgary's really, really good. I don't know. Sorry, dude. I know that sucks. It's figure it out. Is it just the Wi-Fi, you think? Because mine was going in and out, like when my laptop first shot up, but.
I can hear it on my phone. It's solid. It's a solid green on my shit.
I said, hey, can you guys hear us, or is it just nothing? And Stuart said it's starting and stopping like a bad FaceTime, but I can hear you when it plays.
Yeah, I'm getting that same thing.
Yeah, so I don't know. Because if they're hearing us the whole time, then whatever.
Hang tight. I'm unplugging it and see.
Yeah, that's fine. Not the worst time to cut it off, but I mean, figure it out. No worries.
It's weird too because it seems to only be on the Facebook feed, the YouTube one seems fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Twitch one is okay.
Too many comments, that's what it is, bruh. Telling you.
Broke the internet.
95, bitch.
Broke the internet.